topic. I think genuinely now dating is harder for men than it is for women.
Yep.
I think that equally that everyone has been through their own things, and me and Logan were actually talking about this earlier today when it comes to men going through different stages.
Can you scoot in further? You're just kind of getting out of the...
Men going through different phases and stages at a different time in their lives that cause them to not be, or not want to be as open with their feelings, or not wanting to be as communicative when it comes to how they're feeling, what they've gone through, and things like that. And it kind of brings up a wall that kind of blocks everything off.
Are you talking about being vulnerable?
That too.
But you're saying men not being open with their feelings.
Okay.
So you're saying men should be?
I'm saying that when you are trying to date somebody, obviously you two are being more open with each other.
Yeah.
You're talking about past things, you're talking about your feelings, you're talking about family, like things like that. But I feel
Don't do that. Don't do that, gentlemen. Don't do that with women. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, if we say we were like on a date or whatever, been talking for a few months.
I'm sorry, I'm not attracted to you.
I'm not attracted to you either. It's an example. Anyways.
A little banter here. Come on.
Would you not want her to like know anything about your personal life? I mean, obviously.
I wouldn't be like, if I can control it, I would not be vulnerable in front of a girl.
Ever. Dating.
If it's within my control, no, I would not be vulnerable in front of a girl because it just spells disaster. Women claim they want guys who are in touch with their emotions. They want men to be vulnerable. They want men to, be open. And I want to know. Women, it's cap. It's cap. You want a man to be vulnerable so you can use that vulnerability as leverage in a future argument. Okay, let me ask you a question. You claim you want a guy who's vulnerable, right?
I never said that.
I mean, that's essentially what you're saying. You want guys...
I was just asking. I was just telling.
Okay, let me... Really quick, all the girls, do you want a guy who can be vulnerable with you? It's okay if the answer is yes, but...
To a degree, yeah.
Okay, you want a guy who's vulnerable, Shania?
I want a guy who's communicative.
Open, but is he in touch with his emotions?
I mean, I'm not really emotional, so probably not.
All right, outlier. Okay, what about you?
I guess, maybe I just want him to be communicative. Like, I don't necessarily like it.
I thought you want a feminine guy.
Yeah, but I don't like it when people yell at me too. So I'd rather they not yell at me. Like, it's okay for them to talk about it because then I'll listen. I'll listen better if they don't yell at me.
You prefer that you just do the yelling?
Yes.
Of course. Okay. Okay, so what about you?
What's the question?
Do you want a guy who's in touch with his emotions and he can be vulnerable with you?
Yeah, I said to a degree. I would like that.
To a degree. Okay. Would you say that there is a sort of a common theme, you hear it from women, that they wish guys could be more open with how they feel and their emotions and be vulnerable?
But I feel like that's just how like men are built. Like they just like
don't not be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so do you often hear? But do you often hear women say they want that in men? Maybe you guys might not desire it so much, but have you heard women say that?
Personally, no.
Really?
Oh, yeah. None of my friends.
I mean, you've heard it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you've heard it.
Yeah.
Okay. So women claim they want men to be vulnerable, but let me ask you a question. Would you prefer a guy approaching you in a confident way, or maybe what if a guy approaches you, he's kind of nervous and maybe he's a little fidgety and, he's a bit bashful and like, he's not too sure of himself. He's not being weird or creepy, but he's just like nervous. Would you prefer a guy who's nervous or a guy who's just confident? Not cocky, but confident. Go ahead.
Nervous, because then I know that he's not really with other women and like he's not used to talking to other women. And I think that for me, I feel like I'm able to like mold him into what I want.
Wouldn't you think he was hiding something if he was nervous about something?
It's fine. She wants a feminine guy. It's fine. What about you? Because it was mostly what you were saying. Go ahead.
Confident.
Say it with your chest.
Confident.
You'd prefer the confident guy.
I personally would prefer a confident guy over a shy guy. But
okay. What about you?
Definitely confident, because like if you're always nervous and you're insecure, then you're not ready to date me.
Oh, and what about you?
I'm just attracted to the fact that they came up in the first place.
Yeah.
But would you prefer a guy step to you in a confident way, or
yeah.
like a guy who's kind of like a little nervous. Maybe he's like fucking twitching out and shit.
I would definitely be attracted more to the confident, but
Okay.
if someone was nervous, like I said, I wouldn't be able to do it. So the fact that he came up anyways, I would be like, oh, thanks.
Okay. So, and maybe to add to it, maybe his eye contact isn't great. Maybe he's kind of fumbling over his words. Generally speaking, if a guy approaches a woman in that way, you know, he's nervous, not making really good eye contact. He's not being creepy or anything, but he's like, you can tell he's nervous. Like a lot of girls are gonna be like, yo, this guy's kind of like, a lot of girls are gonna be a bit turned off by that.
No,
So
I just
women,
think it's cute though.
okay, you're an outlier. Generally speaking, generally speaking, women want guys. What's the number one thing women will say they want in a guy? I want a guy who's confident. And then women will also say, I want a guy who's vulnerable. You can't have it both ways. The fact of the matter is, if a guy was vulnerable and he did approach you and he was nervous and a bit shy, which is being vulnerable, you would not be attracted to him. So my whole thing is the whole men should be more in touch with their emotions and be vulnerable. That's cap. You only want vulnerability when it, in like very specific situations, and even then it's just it's BS really. So I don't think men should be vulnerable. I can give you an anecdote from me personally. I was dating this girl for 6 months. It was great. She's like very feminine, very almost submissive, and I got into a fight. It wasn't a fight, but like I'll just keep it just to move things along. I got into a fight. I got fucked up. And I hit her up because she was my girl, right? I was like, hey, can you come take care of me? Blah, blah. I wasn't crying. I wasn't like crying like, oh. But I was fucked up. Like I was bleeding and shit. And I was like limping a bit. And the fucking relationship changed from that point forward. Like it was like a fucking light switch. We started arguing. She started like giving me pushback. She saw me in a vulnerable state. And the relationship just changed.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Do you win?
No,
No, you got it.
I lost.
Oh.
Yeah. I think every guy who has learned the hard way, which is basically every other dude in this world, showing your feelings or opening up your feelings to a girl never works. She starts to ghost you. She starts to turn away from you. She starts to leave you unread more, leave you undelivered more, and she starts to lose attraction towards you. So every guy who has done this, I've done this in the past, Nathan's probably done this, just showing your emotions and being open, because sadly guys are being programmed to do this, right? We're being programmed from feminism. Oh, boys need to learn how to open up their feelings. Boys need to learn how to show their emotions. It's okay for boys to cry. We do this in front of women, and guess what? They cheat, they walk away, and they never want to do anything with us. So it is what it is.
And I think it's the opposite, like in terms of if a woman approached, or well, if a man approached and he was shy and nervous and kind of fumbling and his eye contact wasn't really there, most women would be like, he's not confident, that's not attractive. Sure, some women might go for it. This girl over here wants that, I guess. Whereas for us, would you guys prefer a girl to step to you like super confident? First off, women really don't be approaching guys, but like, would you prefer a girl to step to you like super confident, or would you prefer a girl who's like kind of like, again, it's really rare for girls to approach, but if she did approach you, if she's kind of like a little shy and bashful and kind of quiet and reserved and a bit demure, which would you prefer?
Shy. So like usually, like say in a party setting or whatever, a girl will make herself known and she will put herself in your presence, and you have to take that hint. So like that, I'd say that's pretty shy. She's not like coming up to me and, hey, yo, let's fucking make out or something.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's super cute when a girl is super nervous and she's like, oh my God, like my friend dared me or whatever, super nervous, whatever. If a girl comes to me very confident, like, hey, you're super hot, let's fuck, it's kind of like, I'm going to start testing her more, because it's a big red flag. I'm like, okay, interesting. But yeah.
Did you guys have a response? By the way, I forgot to mention this during the pre-show instructions. Just don't read the chat. Stay engaged in the conversation, guys. Did you guys have a response?
I think that there is, to an extent, what I mean by vulnerability is being emotionally available during hard conversations, during personal conversations, such as, you know, hey, I don't like that you're doing this. Like, can we sit down and have a conversation and talk about it, and things like that.
Stop reading the chat.
They will.
Whoa, whoa,
What's that?
whoa.
Whoa.
I got work tomorrow.
What's that?
Nothing.
Oh,
That's okay.
oh, is a girl will tag team that redhead tonight? Oh, okay.
Hoping for it.
Carson, can you pull up the Twitch? I want to shout out all the Twitch homies.